guys, Julia here from JM Squared Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. I'm here today with a ship with me. These are orders that came through over the weekend. Guys, there were some really cool vintage pieces that sold over the weekend. I cannot wait to walk you through what sold, how long I've had it, how much I got it for, how long it sat in my closet, really just invite you into that part of my process. But if this is the first time we are meeting, first and foremost, hello, I'm Julia, that is my name. We talk all things thrifting and vintage and reselling on the internet here. If that sounds like something that you might be into, consider hitting subscribe down below. I would love to have you along on this journey. But guys, I mean, surprising to absolutely not a single one of us, it's Monday. I'm running late. It's mid-afternoon already. It is swelteringly hot outside. So I need to get these things wrapped up and to the post office and back here so I can finish up all the things I still need to get done today. So why don't you go grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink, sit back, relax, and let's get into the shipments. So the first thing we're gonna ship here is this absolutely gorgeous Restoration Hardware king size linen duvet. I'm not gonna unfold this because it's huge and takes a while to fold. So this I found at the bins, guys. Restoration Hardware bedding, if you are unfamiliar, is outrageously expensive. Just like everything else from Restoration Hardware, it is a very, very, very expensive place. Their linen bedding, for example, for this duvet in a king size is either $5.99 or $6.99. I can't remember which number it is, but either way, that is an incredibly expensive duvet cover. Now, I will say the linen is absolutely, positively top-notch. It is gorgeous. You can tell it's just made well, it's milled well. I mean, and it better be for those prices. But yeah, $600 or $700 for this. So when I found it, I was like, guys, look at the linens in the bins. I know a lot of people don't do it. This is the kind of stuff that people people spend a third of their life in bed, right? This is a really great place to make investment purchases like this. You know, feel free to cheap out on your trend pieces. When it comes to your bedding, this is where you make your splurges. But still, I mean, $600 is an almost untenable number for 99% of people. So I found this in the bins for $1. And the temptation to keep it myself was so strong, but I already have a great linen duvet. I'm a huge fan of linen duvets and I don't need another one. This is a little bit darker than I wanted. So I had this listed for $149 for only 4 days and I had a ton of action on it. Have I stressed that you guys should look at linens when you're in the bins, when you're out thrifting? It's worth looking at it. Obviously check it over for rips or holes or whatever the case may be, but you never know what you're gonna find. So I had this listed at $149 for only 4 days, got an offer for $120, which I gladly accepted. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $95 even. Next up, we had some non-clothing things. These are a pair of Soulle Sneakers. These are called the Tennis Mark Cox, I believe. I think these were an exclusive collab that they did with J. Crew. But I love the cheerful yellow, and I am such a sucker for a gum sole, forever and ever. I'm a sneaker girl, and I love a gum sole. So these have a little bit of dust and dirt on them from a few wears, but overall, great condition. Again, they were a special edition, so it's not you could go on Zappos and get another pair of them. Once they're sold out, generally, that's it. So as I always do with my sneakers, any kind of shoes that I sell, I'm always gonna stuff that toe. I'll just kind of rip up a piece of this paper and I will stuff the toe to keep its shape. I recommend you guys take similar care when you are shipping shoes. You see that's rigid here, so it's not gonna get crushed in transit. And I get laughed at for my hoagie wraps all the time. I'm a Philly girl, and I'm gonna wrap my shoes like hoagies all day. Do you guys know what hoagies are? It's I think it's a Philly term. Most of the world calls them subs, which is incorrect, by the way, and I will die on that hill. Italian subs, whatever you wanna call them. Just know that they are hoagies, and that's the real word. So these were actually a sale on eBay. So they're going ground advantage, but again, I like to keep structure in my shoe boxes, so this is my little sneaky hack if I'm shipping something ground advantage. In the priority mail shoe box, then I'm going to wrap the shoe box in a poly mailer. It's a little bit of a bootleg situation, and it's a little bit more waste than I like to do, but at the end of the day, It's important to me that these pieces get to their destination safely. So I had these listed for just under 1 month at $39. I got an offer for $30. I actually got several extreme lowballs on these. I'm talking like $6, $7, $8. I don't know what was going on, and I feel like it's just randomly some item that I have is going to get like all of these crazy lowballs, and this was one of them. So I got an offer finally for $30, which I gladly accepted. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $22.45. I hope she loves them. They are such cute shoes. And to be sure, if they were my size, they would not be leaving. That is very much my style. Next up here, this is a cute little Urban Outfitters jumpsuit. So I don't pick up a ton of Urban Outfitters, but this being what it was, so it's just like sunflower print, wide like ankle length leg with a tie back. It's super cute. I mean, it's Urban Outfitters, so I'm never gonna get a ton of money for it because Urban Outfitters stuff doesn't retail for all that high. But, you know, every once in a blue moon, if I find something in great condition and the style is right, like this, you know, was 100% a style pickup, I'll grab it. But I do love a one-piece wonder. I do struggle to photograph them though. Is that anybody else? They're kind of hard to, you know, because you don't get that structure in the waist when you photograph it, or I could lay it on the ground, but then that looks weird and I don't like putting this stuff on the ground. I wish I had a slant board. I do not yet, operative term. But this was just so cute, so 90s coded. It was just very much like of the moment right now. So I had this guy listed for about 4 months at $32, and I got an offer for $22. And with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $16.60. I was kind of keen to move this on just because we're kind of creeping up to the end of the summer. And sales for stuff like this, like a sleeveless jumpsuit, are gonna be slowing down pretty soon. Next up here, another brand I don't pick up a ton of, but this was just so soft and delightful that I knew I had to have it. So this is from Splendid. And Splendid is a very expensive brand. And this is kind of like a chambray-ish. I don't know what this fabric is. It feels kind of like a tencel, but looks like a chambray. Just like a little surplice bodice, a cute little sundress. Just an easy, like, throw it on and go kind of dress. Super soft. And Splendid stuff is very expensive. This probably retailed like $170. And the shame of it is, Splendid doesn't really resell for the highest amount. Like a couple years ago, you know, back in its heyday, it would have fetched a much higher price, but that is not the case today. But it's still really high quality stuff. And again, like saying that it doesn't resell for all that much means that like it's definitely a brand to put on your radar if you are shopping for like basics for yourself, because Splendid stuff is made really well and the textiles are excellent and the retail price is incredibly high and you can get a great deal on these things. So I had this listed for $36 and I had it for about 5 months. I'm not surprised that it took that long to sell. It is Splendid. Splendid stuff is taking a little bit longer. And it popped through as a full price sale, which I love to see. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $29.97. I hope she loves it. That is like a perfect little casual dress. Next up is this cute 2-piece situation from Vince. And Vince, if you are unfamiliar, is like crazy expensive. It's like a button-down shirt underneath with a sweatshirt over top, and the sweatshirt is like nicely oversized. This is a size extra small, but it's Vince, man. This probably retailed for like $250. So expensive, but the quality is there. Vince stuff is gorgeous. Their textiles are always really nice. So I will pick up most Vince pieces that I do see out there. I don't see a ton, but I do see some. And again, basics. This, you know, some of the Vince pieces sell pretty high, but when you're in the kind of casual wear world, they don't sell as high as like the silk blouses, like the more day wear, office wear, special event type stuff. Like the casual stuff sells not nearly as well, despite being just as gorgeous quality and just as high in the retail price. So I had this one listed for about 4 months. And I had it listed for $34, and my sidekick sent an offer for $28, which was accepted. This is actually going to one of you. I hope you love it. And with a $1 cost at the bins, this brought me a profit of $19.38, which is great. Again, this probably retailed at like $250. So Vince is no joke with their retail pricing. Anyway, I hope you love it. Next up, this is one of the cool vintage pieces that sold. So this is a vintage Laura Ashley dress. This is actually my mother-in-law's. My husband went home to visit his family a couple months ago, and he came back and he said, you know, my mom sent a few things with me. She said she had seen you, sell a piece or two, and she had some, so she sent me home with them. And I kind of made a joke saying like, ha ha ha, you know, did she send you home with a couple Laura Ashley pieces? And he's like, yeah, I actually think that's what it is. And I'm like, no way. Laura Ashley, if you are unfamiliar, is a brand out of the UK. They were huge in the 80s. They made these kind of like prairie style dresses. This is like flannel. And I got them at the same time as she had sent me with like a springy, like yellow floral one that was like lightweight cotton, and then this one. So I'm not super surprised that this one took a little bit longer to sell, just because it's more of like a fall winter piece. But guys, Laura Ashley sells for a ton. If you can find them, grab them. There's just like a real cult following for them. And I will say one little tip that I have for them. I've sold many, not this one, but I've sold many of the Laura Ashley pieces that I've had overseas. They've gone to, I think like 2 went to Japan, 1 went to China. So maybe it's a trend there specifically, but make sure if you do find one that you have like whatever, like if you're cross-listing and you have it on platforms that allow you to ship internationally, and like I cannot recommend that you cross-list enough. I mean, it's a way to insulate yourself from the ups and downs of each individual platform. But if you have it listed on a platform where you can ship internationally, make sure you have that enabled, because a lot of the market for this is overseas. So I've had this listed for about 4 months. Again, seems like about the right time to be selling a flannel Laura Ashley. And I had it listed for $78 and it popped through as a full price sale. So this was 0 cost to me. So my profit ended up being $66.03. And I know my mother-in-law is happy that these are going on to like live another life. But I'm sure they were a real splurge back in the day when she got them, because they were not cheap. Like I remember my mom talking about Laura Ashley and like how expensive it was. So next up, another cool vintage piece. This is Adriana Pel, 100% silk. And I wasn't sure how this was gonna go, because it's kind of like this office aesthetic. Like it looks like it could be worn to an office, but it's also silk. So it could be cocktail, it's wrap style, but Adriana Pel, like her stuff is really beautiful quality. So this is, again, full wrap, little tie here with the most interesting colorway. And this is another one that I had a bunch of very low ball offers on. $5, $6, $7. And the funny thing is, I don't think Adriana Pel, for whatever reason, I don't think her stuff resells all that high, despite the fact that it is expensive. So like if you are in the market for like, you're going to a wedding as a guest, you're going to a gala event, you're going to a ball, whatever the case may be, check out Adriana Pel on the secondhand market. Her beaded dresses are like gorgeous, and they sell for like $400, $500, $600 at like Lord & Taylor and Nordstrom. So definitely just like a brand to have on your radar. If you're thinking about sourcing it for resale, just take the time to do the comps. This was vintage from the 90s, so there were really no comps that I could go off of. So, I grabbed it just because it's beautiful quality and it's silk, and you hope for the best. But I had this priced at $32, and again, had a bunch of these like low ball offers, and ultimately got an offer for $20, which I did accept. And with a $1, and I had it listed for about a month and a half. Forgot to mention that, but with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $15 even. And I hope she loves it, because this is in like perfect vintage condition. It's such a unique thing, right? Like I love finding these vintage pieces, because you're not gonna find another. Next up, another vintage piece. This is Theory, and this is just like a lightweight cotton lawn floral printed dress. I think actually my mom found this on one of her dollar days. And Theory for me is like an always buy. They make really elevated basics. I love finding their sweaters, of course. They make gorgeous like cashmere and merino wool. This is very kind of over the top and printed by theory standards, which is kind of interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anything that's like not dark and knit from them. I've seen like button-down shirts, but not in like this cheerful spring color. Theory is just one of those brands that I love to find. I have a lot of pieces that I've thrifted for myself. They are part of my like weekly rotation. I had this one for 6 months. So I was getting to the point where I was ready to like move this on. And I had it listed for $32 and got an offer for $24. And with a $1 cost at Dollar Days, this brought my profit to $19.34. So happy this is going to a new home. Again, theory for me is an always buy. All right, next up here, these I knew would go fast. So these are a pair of Lululemon leggings. I think they're called the Speed Up Tight. I can never remember what they're called, but they were a size 16. So they're that New Luxe fabric, which is my personal favorite, which feels, it's what they call like a naked feel fabric. So it's not super compressive, but it's slick to the touch, right? So it's not something that's, if you're wearing it and you've got like a ton of animals, it's not gonna pick up all that like animal fur. Again, a size 16 Lululemon in great condition is pretty hard to come by on the secondhand market. They don't last long. So I knew that this would be a pretty quick sale. At this point, I don't anticipate any Lululemon unless I'm finding like the flares, Aligns, or something like this. I don't anticipate any of them being a quick sale. They have been pretty saturated. I'm constantly seeing people talking about getting like pallets of 1,000 pieces, you know, so these big lots are flooding the market. So just, you know, something to keep in mind as you're outsourcing. Like, you know, 2 years ago, all day, I'd tell you, if you find a pair of Lululemons, any pair of Lululemons, pick them up for 10 bucks, whatever, you'll get your money back. But today is a different beast. I really think that the leggings in general have left the athleisure building. You know, you're not seeing as many people buying these for like lounging around the house like they used to. So leggings are always gonna be in, because people like to wear them to the gym. I think we have seen the peak and now we're on the decline of seeing leggings as like a leisure item of clothing. I mean, sure, absolutely, there are people that are still wearing it, but just the pool of buyers has dwindled significantly. Everybody's going for flares or they're going for sweatpants these days. For lounging specifically, I'm not talking about the gym, but there's always gonna be a market for leggings because they are, you know, the best functionally for working out. Nobody needs extra fabric around their ankles when they're on a stationary bike. So anyway, I had these listed for $42 and I had them listed for just 1 week. Like I said, I knew this was gonna be a quick one. I got an offer for $35, which I did accept. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $26.31. And I'm happy that these are going on to get some more wear because those are the kind of leggings that are like $128, you know, retail. They're really expensive. Next up, one of my favorite kind of things to find. This is a standard James purse, just black crew neck t-shirt, size large. I mean, I will pick this specific set of specs up all day. And I'll pay up for it a little bit too, because the black t-shirts are kind of the signature of James purse. And again, size large in good condition, the best. These retail, I wanna say they retail like $98. They're so expensive. But, you know, James purse is all about the textiles and all about the cut, right? It's like doing the basics and doing them the best. I literally never felt anything that James purse has made that doesn't feel like a literal dream in terms of the textiles that he used to make them. I found once this gorgeous sweater dress. Oh my God. It felt so luxe, so beautiful. I'm sure it retailed for like $400 or $500. It's, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, yes, they're expensive and yes, you're gonna be paying $20, $30 for a t-shirt on the secondhand market. But when you take into consideration the fact that the t-shirts that you're picking up are probably $100 retail, if you're looking for those great quality basics and you're willing to spend a little bit more on them, check out James purse. You will not be disappointed. So I have this listed for $30 for just 1 week. Again, a black crew neck James purse is never going to sit around for all that long, unless you get like an extra small or like a 3XL. $30 for just 1 week. I got an offer for $25, which I gladly accepted. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $19.64. Hope he loves it. Again, just like the best basic. The best basic. Every guy needs a really good, well-made, well-fitted black t-shirt. It's like the right pair of jeans for girls. You know what I'm saying? Next up is this funky little tie. My mom found this when she was out and we had gone thrifting together. And it's definitely 90s, but like, look at that weird print. It's like very 90s kind of cubist, which feels very familiar to me or to anybody who lived through the 90s. But then you have these random like Baroque chairs. I keyworded this pretty strategically. I called it, you know, like artwear, art to wear. This kind of reminds me of something that was bought in maybe like, there were these little galleries near where I grew up that would sell like art glass, and they would have like kind of metal art and stuff like that. This feels, or like a museum gift shop. This feels very much like something that would have been found in a place like that. And yes, to this day, I still don't know how to wrap ties, so we do it the best that we can. I don't keep tie boxes, so I just wrap it so it doesn't get creased like crazy in the mail. You know, it's like where you would get those cool, like the umbrellas with the clouds underneath. I think that was MoMA. Always had those. I always wanted one. So I had this guy listed for $28, again, using every keyword tool I had in my toolkit. And I had it listed for only 2 months. And I will tell you, we found like 5 or 6 ties that day, and this is the first one to sell. And the other ties are like YSL and Christian Dior. And this is the first one to sell, so go figure. So had it listed for $28. My sidekick sent an offer for $25, which was accepted with a $1 cost of the bins. This brought my profit to $16.98. I hope they love this because it is so funky and so weird. And I bet this is going to like an art teacher. I bet anything. It's going to like an art teacher or a music teacher. It just has that vibe to it. So next up, and I have no idea how to hang this, this is a little romper from Free People. So this is just a cute little like flirty black romper from Free People. It's got like a crochet detail here on the bodice, halter neck. So just a cute little like one piece, fun, flirty thing to wear in the summer. I was very aware of the fact that the summer again is coming to a close. So I was ready to move this guy on. These little rompers, these little one pieces are tough to fold. So this would be something super easy to throw on for like a festival, you're going to a concert. I love rompers, but man, do I not love having to take the whole thing off. Go to the bathroom. I love having like a one and done kind of piece, but man, it is just some level of like losing your dignity that I feel like every girl has to go through at least once. But they are super cute and they are super flattering and they are otherwise really easy to wear. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever worn a romper out and about and you had to do the whole like everything off to go to the bathroom thing. So I had this for about 6 months and I had it listed for $28 and got an offer for $25, which I gladly accepted. With a $1 cost at the bins, this brought my profit to $15.07. Nope, that's 22. Can't read my own handwriting. Got an offer for $22, which I did accept. Again, I was kind of ready to move this on. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $15.07. Super cute. Hope she loves it. And finally, this was a special piece. Okay, so this, I found this a while ago. And this is Philosophy di Alberto Ferretti, who's, obviously a very high-end designer. This is 100% silk. It's so funky. This feels like 90s, like haute couture. The construction on this is out of this world. It is just beautiful. Like the way, let me show you this. Like instead of having a zip up the back, it's all little snaps. It's definitely like a signature. If you see this kind of closure on an item, on an article of clothing, you know you're looking at something that is like incredibly well made. That is not a cheap way to do closures, I'll put it that way. But this gave me very like futuristic, this gave me very, it was just like very 90s retro future. I don't know how else to describe that. So I had this for a little bit and I knew this was gonna take a minute to sell just because it was a small size, it's more expensive, it's definitely like a look, this is not a style for everybody. But man, I wish whoever was buying this could just like send me a picture of how they wear it because I would love to see this back in action. I've talked about this a lot. I wish there was a way I could ask for that without people thinking I was a total creep. I just want to see these little treasures back in action. But I will always pick these kind of things up. And I know like they don't work for everybody. Like there's a lot of people who wouldn't touch something like this because they know it's going to sit around for a long time. And they know it's gonna be a very specific buyer, but for me, this is the kind of stuff that like keeps me going. You know, like, yes, I love a quick sale. I love those Lululemon leggings that I know are gonna be in and out of my hands in a week. But something like this, that's special, you know, that's going on, somebody's paying up a little bit for it, and I know it's gonna be like a real statement piece for them. That's right here. That's it for me. So I had this listed for about 10 months. Again, I knew, of course, this was gonna take a little bit longer to sell. So I had it listed for $74. When this was brand new, this probably cost $1,500, $2,000. Like Alberta Ferretti is, I think Philosophy is a diffusion line, but it's one of those like diffusion line that's not, you know, the items are not $3,000, but they're maybe $800 or $900. So like diffusion. So I had this listed for $74 for 10 months, got an offer for $59, which I gladly accepted. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $55.25. And oh my God, I hope she loves this so much. It's such a special piece. But guys, that is it. That is the shipment for today. Thank you so much for hanging with me while I literally get my work done. Some really cool pieces went this weekend, and that just makes me so happy. I love finding those special pieces that that are basically one of a kind at this point, that are gonna go on and live a new life and really be like a conversation starter wherever they're worn. But guys, if you had fun, please consider leaving a like on this video or a comment. Of course, don't forget to subscribe. I would love to have you along on this journey, but without further ado, guys, it is so late right now. But without further ado, you all have a most beautiful weekend. Happy hunting, and I will see you in the next one.